In this interesting episode, we are talking about the most interesting thing, and that interesting thing being, have you ever asked yourself a question of how to grow avocado for business? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Do you wanna start a business in avocado lines, but you just wanna know how to grow avocados? Don't worry, I'm gonna give you the do's and the don'ts and the area in which you need to plant this. Don't worry, I've got you covered. The only thing that I require of you, which is free, it is by subscribing, which is free. Like the video, comment in the comment section below, and if you do so, YouTube is gonna help me grow and reach more audience. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the video, guys. Now, what it takes to grow avocados if you want to start. High in vitamins and minerals, avocados are incredibly popular fruit that is grown primarily in Limpopo and Mpumalanga. Manso from the South African Avocado Growers Association, SAGA, says farmers in the industry have been planting new trees and are investing in new technologies. We have seen a lot of farmers trying to introduce new technologies which are good for production, which are sustainable and good for the environment as well, which includes managing water use, which include managing the vicinity ground where the farmer are working. Okay. The number of fruits that goes through the retail production or the retail supply in South Africa has been increasing, and we have even seen the number of informal traders showing an increase. Our main avocado processing in South Africa is soil and that word which I don't even know. Now, let's talk about number one, the climax. What type of a climax would it be conducive for one to plant avocado, right? Avocado plants flourish in cool subtropical areas, which is why they are primarily grown in Limpopo and Mpumalanga. Manto says that the areas in which avocados are grown across the country form a green belt as they particularly lush. There's a lot of rainfall in this region, and the soil is very cold. That's why it is considered a subtropical area. There are, however, a number of things that must be considered when you are planting avocado in this region. The first one is infrost. If the area has infrost, the infrost must not be what we call it a black infrost. While the trees are able to tolerate light frost, black frost, says Manso says, it is extremely cold and it limits the trees from growing. Explains that the farmers can determine whether they have black frost by looking at their pipes. When you check your water pipes, your normal water pipes froze so that the water cannot flow. That's how you know that you have a black frost in the area. A place with black frost cannot grow avocado. Okay. So before we get into what's the right soils, according to this guide by the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, the ideal average temperature to grow avocados ranges between 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. During flowering, the temperature needs to be above 18 degrees Celsius. Though some cultivars can handle pressure at as low as 13 degrees Celsius. So you want to know what type of a good soil will be required for you to plant this one. Got you covered. The right soil. Okay, planting avocado can be an extreme venture. It makes sense then to have a soil you wish to plant is analyzed first to see if it fits the soil requirement for avocados. Those requirements include reddish brown, red, and dark brown soil color. with a clay content between 20 to 40%. The clay content helps with the water retention. Though if the clay content is too high rainfall, however, the irrigation can lead to waterlogged soil that causes root rot. Manza explained that avocado trees cannot do well on sandy soil. It says that sandy soils do not produce trees of good enough quality, making the fruit from these trees superb. A lot of farmers are not producing enough quantity through sandy soil production because it delays the production and the soil becomes too hot in winter. One of the things which avocado doesn't want is that the soil is too hot in the summertime. Now let's talk about the right amount of soil, because I talked about the right amount of I spoke about the right amount of what's this one? I spoke about the right amount of the right soil, but let's talk about the amount of water. Okay, avocados are not drought resistant and almost always need supplementary irrigation. The plant requires rainfall of more than 1,000 mm, okay, annually. Spread fairly evenly throughout the year. Supplementary irrigation is needed during the dry plant of the year. This is also why the plant requires a high level of humidity, as the humidity limits water stress. Avocados cannot flourish in saturated or waterlogged condition, which is why the correct irrigation method needs to be used. Trees require frequent light watering, the amount which depends on how mature the trees are. Using a flooding system to irrigate the trees is not recommended, but a dragline sprinkler system or microjet system comes highly recommended. Okay. Having spoken about the right amount of water, what's the right trees? Muller from Muller Farming Trust says that avocado trees produce quite quickly, though the first harvest will very likely not bear much fruit. He explains that someone growing avocados in their backyard will likely to use seeds from the fruit sold on the shelf and end up with disappointing result. He explains that this is why commercial farmers need to source their genetic form from qualified nursery. From that reason, if I go into commercial production, it will be important to acquire the trees from a commercial nursery. Obviously, there are quite a variety of cultivators that are available. Once I acquire the fruit tree, it is already more or less 1 year old. It is weaned, and once I plant it, I can expect that by the next flourishing season, this little tree might push its first little flower, and of those, there might be the first setting of the fruit. The year after that, we'll have the first 1 or 2 or 3 fruit on that tree, obviously depending on the different cultivars. Okay. We have to draft the cultivars into the rootstock to determine or to create the required and desired cultivators. Other nurseries also produce what they call a clonal rootstock, which is a more complicated process. Strava emphasizes the importance of sourcing your trees from commercial nursery. It is always important to source your trees from a commercial nursery that has experience and know-how. there are a lot of protocols that goes into sanitary environment and sourcing the correct plant material, so that you can actually end up with a superior tree of the right cultivator with a good health system. So with that being said, guys, that's all it takes to grow. If you have listened very carefully, that's all that it takes to grow an avocado tree. It remains to be seen then as we move forward. We're going to give you more and more business ideas. So if you are living in an area such as Limpopo and Mpumalanga and you're not into this avocado thing, man, you're missing out, because you are the one with the greatest opportunity. But it doesn't necessarily mean that a person in Johannesburg cannot take this advantage. They can, but there will be a lot of tests that will be done in order to determine if your soil can accommodate that, and also there are certain things that will be put into place in order for you to successfully plant this type of things. Now, but then it is also equivalent. It is also critically important to understand the procedure related to the product that you want to venture upon. Until the next episode, guys, please take care.